Hola clase! Today we're going to talk about the verb estar, so make sure you have your ESTAR note guide and that you're filling it out as we go through the PowerPoint. Okay, in Spanish there are two ways to say to be. One of them you already know is ser, and the one we're going to talk about today is estar. Both of those verbs mean to be. Okay, remember you need to conjugate verbs, which means change them when you want to create sentences. So if you notice on part A of your note guide, it wants you to write what conjugation means. So pause the video and write that conjugation is changing a verb to match a subject. Okay, so we know there are two ways to say to be, ser and estar. So let's talk about the verb ser first. Okay, we've used it before. It is used to describe a person, their characteristics, okay, to identify a person, and to say where a person is from. So notice our sentences below. The first one is to describe a person's characteristic. If you say, tú eres muy bonita, you're saying you are very pretty. That is describing a characteristic. If you want to identify a person, nosotros somos estudiantes en Cuba. You're saying we are students in Cuba, and that's an identification sentence. And finally, to say where a person is from, él es de Estados Unidos. He is from the United States. Pause the video at this time and fill in that ser means to be and the three uses listed below. Okay, now let's talk about estar. Remember, estar also means to be, and it is used to describe feelings and emotion and to describe position and location. So the first two example sentences show us how estar is used to describe feelings or emotion. If you ask someone, ¿Cómo estás?, you're asking them, how are you feeling? Ellas están enojadas hoy means that they are angry today. Okay, that's feeling or emotion. Okay, the bottom two describe position and location. Los libros están en el escritorio. The books are on the desk. That's position. And Madrid está en España. Madrid is in Spain. That is location. Pause the video and fill in that estar means to be and the two uses. Okay, so for part B, we need to fill in the chart. But first, let me go through it, and then I'll have you pause the video and fill it in. Okay? Yo estoy means I am. Tú estás means you are. Notice there is an accent over the A. Usted está means you are. Remember, that's formal. Él está, he is. Ella está, she is. Notice that all three of those share the form está, and that it does have an accent over the A. Okay? Let's look at the plural side. Nosotros estamos and nosotras estamos both mean we are. Notice that there are no accents there. And then ustedes están, you all are. Ellos están, they are, and ellas están, they are. Notice that all three of those share the same form of estar and that they do have an accent over the A. Okay? Pause the video at this time and fill in the chart for part B. Okay, so you'll notice at the bottom here it says how you're feeling and where you are is when you use the verb estar. Okay, I would like for you to pause the video and write that on the line underneath the chart for part B. Try and memorize that saying that will help you remember when to use estar instead of when to use ser. Okay, practiquemos, let's practice. It says fill in the blank with the correct form of estar. Okay, so we're going to do the first one together, and then you will pause the video and fill in 2 through 8 for part C on your note guide. Okay? All right, the first one has, if you notice, we've talked about this before, the pronoun tú comes after the blank because when you have a question, you flip it. Okay, so the verb will come first and then the subject pronoun. All right, so if you use your chart from part B, you'll see that the correct form for estar, when you see tú, is estás. So, ¿estás tú triste? Are you sad? Okay, so for this one, make sure that you put the accent in as well, because if you notice, there is an accent mark over the A in some of these forms. All right, pause the video and fill out the rest. All right, let's check our answers. Número 2. Yo estoy en la clase de español. I am in Spanish class. So we know that the yo form of estar is estoy, so that's why we chose that. Número 3. Nosotros estamos nerviosos. We are nervous. Again, the nosotros form of estar is estamos. 4. Fernanda está en la oficina del director. Fernanda is in the principal's office. And again, we used está because Fernanda is like saying she, which is ella. And the form for ella, the form of estar for ella is está. 5. Las plumas están en mi mochila. The pens are in my backpack. Okay. The pens we see here, these are things, not people. However, in Spanish, you would still say They are in the backpack. So las plumas is like saying ellas, and the form of estar for ellas is están. Okay? Also, make sure that you're putting the accent where needed. Okay? Número 6. Los estudiantes están emocionados por las vacaciones. The students are excited for vacation. So los estudiantes is like saying ellos or they. So we would use están. Número 7. La cafetería está cerca de la biblioteca. The cafeteria is close to the library. Okay, again, la cafeteria is a thing, not a person, but notice that it's feminine and singular. So in Spanish, it would be similar to saying ella. So we would use está because that's the correct form of estar for ella. Número 8. ¿Cómo están ustedes? How are you all? Okay, so notice that ustedes comes after the verb, but that triggers that we need están for the form of estar. Okay, also notice that all of these sentences use estar because they're talking about feelings. See, here's sad. Okay, this one is location. You're saying I'm in Spanish class. So remember that you use the verb estar to talk about how people are feeling and locations. Okay. Write any questions you may have on your note guide and make sure you ask them as soon as class begins. There will be a 5-point mini quiz the next day at the beginning of class. And please take the initiative to watch the video more than once in order to fully and completely understand the content covered in the video and or to clear up any confusion. All right, so at this point, make sure you fill in part D of your note guide where it asks you to write down any questions you may have. Adios.